for me, even though we're not going to use the video for anything.
Okay.
A lot of people are like, no, turn it off. I look like hell right now.
So I just woke up. Yeah, so no worries.
Yeah, I've been sick for like we're coming up. If I make it to Friday, it will be 3 weeks.
Ugh.
So
yeah.
I'm done with that.
Right. It is a season though. Definitely so.
Yeah. So
and my wife's sick too.
Oh, it's the worst. All right. So Brent, let's get this thing going.
You got it.
Brent, I'm so happy to have you on New Media Lab today. Why don't you describe your podcast?
Yeah, so I am the co-host of Hysteria 51. We've been doing it. We actually just had our 2-year anniversary in September. We are a comedy first show. We talk about conspiracy theories and the paranormal and the strange and anything weird that we can think of. We cover that. And you can find us anywhere with podcatchers. Just look up Hysteria 51. We also have a Facebook page, Hysteria 51 Podcast. Hysteria Nation is a Facebook group. And hysteria51.com, if in case you forget any of that stuff, we're easy to find.
Okay. So Brent, we're going to go right through these questions here.
Great.
When did you start podcasting?
So I started podcasting. We started in late 2015. My current show, Hysteria 51, we started in September of 2016. I had 2 shows previously that didn't take off. The show that it lasted the longest before this was one called Rat or Fad, and we went about 6 months on it, and Hysteria 51 kind of took off. But so coming up on 3 years for solid podcasting.
How many downloads does your most popular current show average per episode? The reason I ask that is some people have multiple shows they're doing.
Right.
So for you, it's Hysteria 51 is what we're talking
so
about.
we do about 110,000 in 4 weeks. We always take it by 4 weeks. So that's rough, and that's been bumped up recently. But that's a rough guesstimate. In a month, we do about 110,000.
And how many episodes are you posting in a month?
Oh, 4. We do 1 a week. We release a new episode every Monday.
Excellent. And is that consistent? Is that year round?
Yeah, every week. Yeah. So far we've never missed a week. Fingers crossed that stays up.
I'm going to ask another question here and interpret this the way you want.
Right.
Are you a celebrity, or is anyone associated with your podcast a celebrity?
I'm not even a household name in my own household. No, I am not a celebrity. People in the podcasting community might know me because I'm active, but no, I am not a celebrity in any way, shape, or form.
And your partner is not either?
No, not at all. Not at all. I wish we would have, because we sure wouldn't have had to have fought and clawed and dug to get to where we are, but no, no, we are not.
So that actually negates the next question, which is, were you a celebrity when you started your podcast?
No, I was not.
Do you feel like you're gaining celebrity at this point?
We do. You know what? So my wife and I, we always judge that as far as like how many Facebook friends requests. So my wife she helps produce the show, and we actually had to make her a fake Facebook page because she got so many friend requests and stuff like that. So not a fake one, but we made her a like page. So I guess the more downloads and the more publicity we do get a lot more people wanting to reach out or talk to us and things like that. But I definitely wouldn't call it celebrity. When you do a show, people want to talk to you. People want to interact. People want to get to know you, because I think that the difference between, a lot of things and podcasting is people feel that they really get to know the person. And because of that, it kind of leads into, I want to know this person. I want to be friends. I want to interact with them. That's my own opinion, I guess.
Sure. Okay. Now we're going to get into some of the meat here.
Sure.
Do you think that gaining audience today is the same as when you started this?
We've been lucky in finding an audience that's very vocal, and they love to share us. And that's been one of our biggest things, is our audience has been big supporters. But that's something we lucked into. We've tried, as I said, I had Rat or Fad, and we had a couple other shows before, and we tried to reproduce that and didn't have the success. And in ways, I guess you could say it's easier because podcasting and podcasts are so much easier to find and are a much bigger piece of the cultural zeitgeist, I guess you could say. The flip side is there's so many shows that's hard to gain attention or traction because you're in a sea of other shows. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But you go out and buy yourself a new car right now, and now they're putting podcast apps built into the stereos and stuff. So that's not a bad thing. So it's definitely easier, at least, to find podcasts. But it's still a lot of them out there.
So that actually, I'm going to go off of my questions for a second to address something. So yeah, I know that I was reading a thing recently that most cars on the road are about 12 years old, which means podcatchers are not there, which is one of the problems. As it becomes more prevalent in the automotive industry, it's going to make it easier. It's going to be trouble for mainstream radio, I have a feeling,
right?
Which we've already seen. Trouble for satellite radio as well, because they've got to change their game somewhat too to adapt to this.
Absolutely.
As far as getting that attention, so now we've got it so it's easy to get in the hands of the listener. Okay, the pipeline is there. How do we get their attention so that they know Hysteria 51 is there?
So we have been grassroots. People say, we have been. When we started, let me preface this with something. When I started, I went to I'm in Chicago, and I went to Second City, and they had a you want to be a podcaster? This is in like 2015 at a class. They're like, it's so easy. All you got to do is ask your friends and family. There's hundreds of downloads in and of itself. So we started our podcast. We asked our friends and family, and they didn't listen. They didn't give a crap, and so it's such, everyone's got their own opinion of it. But we started one of the biggest things we've done is social media. We're on Reddit, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, on Instagram, Snapchat, everywhere. And we just try to interact. I try to interact every day. And our Facebook page has been, our Facebook group has been one of the biggest things for people to be able to find us and talk about us. And we've done contests and giveaways, and just really trying to get the few people that we get in the beginning to tell, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends. And that's a big thing, where we tried to make sure that we were interacting with those people as much as possible. It kind of goes back to what I was saying about people want to know you. They want to, get to feel like they have, interaction, and we give them that. And I think that's been a big thing for us, at least on our show, is the back and forth, the interaction, and ask people to do it. We ask them all the time, give us a review, tell a friend, do this and that, and they do it. And that's been helpful for us. The other thing that I know John and I did that a lot of people, John Goforth is my co-host, a lot of people have maybe don't do or don't have the means to do and stuff, is we've traveled to a lot of different podcast movement. We went to Podcast Movement and different promotions. We went on Podcast Cruise 2017 and just meeting other shows and trying to talk to other hosts and people in the industry and get our name out there so that they go, hey, didn't we talk to some guys from Hysteria 51? Oh, we're wanting to do an article. Let's talk to them. And we've gotten written up in some things because of that. And that's been a big help for us.
Great. Okay. Back to the questions.
Sure.
And you're going to probably go over stuff you've already covered.
Sure. No. Oh yeah. No problem at all.
What are the 3 key things that you've done to grow your audience?
So I think making it seem, and making this true, not just seem, that they're missing out if they aren't participating in social media, kind of like I talked about. There's so much more there as far as being able to talk to one another. And so, but not just making it seem, like I said, making it true, so that, we're doing extra things. And we always talk about the end of our episodes, say we're going to be talking about this, we're talking about that on our Facebook group, or this and that and the other. And I think that helps us out a lot, is making it worthwhile for them to want to interact outside of just the show. The other, consistency. Once you have an online community, don't retreat. It's not like it's mission accomplished. You're there. To your fans, like you said, we're not celebrities, but to them you are in a way, because they want to talk to you, and that gives them a sense of interaction, and people love interaction. I think that's one of the biggest things. And make sure, I guess the third one, this is kind of silly, but it's been in the news lately. make sure your followers are real. Don't buy followers. Don't buy listens and stuff, because that's disingenuous. And then you can see these people that, when they have a group and they have, a few thousand followers and they post something and they get, 3 likes. You're like, and I think that people in the industry that are reaching out and looking at other shows notice those things and go, yeah, that doesn't jive to me. And I think other people do that too, or notice it.
Do you pay attention? I'm going off questions again here. Do you pay attention to things like listen time, general download numbers, like fluctuation there? Is there, as far as the data goes, stuff like that, is that stuff that you guys pay attention to, or do you just keep going, we just want to go up?
Very, very much so. So we always do. We release on a Monday, and on a Thursday we pull numbers. And I know that's not a whole week, but we just see, that gives, you've had 4 days. We always look at those numbers and see, outside of listen time, but how many downloads we have, what we're at for 30 days for the week, all-time listens. And then the other thing is we have and we haven't, as far as checked listen time, as far as how many people. It kind of fluctuates. That's not something that we put on our I keep a spreadsheet, so on every Thursday I keep track of all the numbers, and we've done that since we started. And listen time isn't as much, but that's something that we go back and look at, because I don't want to be seeing people listen to 2 minutes of the show and don't, so we are losing. But the last time we were at like 78% of the show, so that's pretty good. I think that, if you're getting at least 3/4 of the show, you're getting through.
Yeah, good answer, man. Okay, you're gonna have a lot to say about this one. And you've already said it, but I want to hear more.
Sure.
What are 3 key social media practices to build an audience?
So, number 1 is just asking the people to be part of the social media. I know that sounds silly, but I know so many people, and I'm in groups with other podcasts, and they go, well, I don't want to inundate people. I don't want to make them feel weird. It's not making them feel weird. You're asking your audience to grow. Help them do it. Ask them to be a part of it and give them a reason why. So, join our XY group because we're going to be talking about this, that, or the other. The second one would be, make it worth their while outside stuff. We've done a lot, and I went back and forth on this with a lot of people, but we've done giveaways, just stickers and shirts and stuff. We do it all the time. Coloring contests for Halloween, silly things like that. People go crazy about because they really like it and it's interacting with them. And the other thing that I do, because I love podcasting and I think it helps us, is I'm on a lot of other pages and I don't talk about Hysteria 51, but I go to other people's pages and I interact and I try to help them and talk and things like that. And I think that makes them go, hey, this Brenny's from Hysteria 51, you should check them out. I'm not doing it because of that, but I think it does come through, and I think just being active in the community, not just your own community, grows your community.
Great answer.
If that makes any sense.
That makes perfect sense. Do you have a social media strategy that you work with, or is it just kind of like, hey, here are the places we're going to put stuff and we want to make sure we post every day? Is it simple like that? Or do you go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, we post polls. Wednesdays we do what?
So when we started out, we very much had okay, so the new episode comes out on Monday, then we make our own meme on Tuesday and blah, blah, blah on Wednesday and stuff like that. And we did that. But now, since I can spend so much more time on there, I think it comes off more organic when I'm just on there every day and I'm adding to it. And it probably in the back of my head, I'm not realizing it, but I'm posting similar things every week. But it's not done on purpose. We very much did in the beginning, and I don't think that's a bad thing because it gets you used to using your social media, because a lot of people have a page and there's nothing on there. I was just recently on another show's page, and I said, hey, when you post a show, how about you post a link here so people can listen to it? And they said, oh, that's a great idea. It's crazy to think that you got to do that, but you got to do that for some people, and there's nothing wrong. You don't know when you start out, and you might not know what you're supposed to do. So I think that having a strategy in the beginning, you should always have a strategy, but having a strategy in the beginning of I should post this, that, and the other will help you until it becomes habit. And then once it's your habit, then that's just your go-to. And I know I'm going to do this every day.
Now, with your social media presence right now, you mentioned you're on Reddit, you're on Facebook. Can you lay out basically, so what platforms, what is getting original content? So the reason I ask that is some people use Instagram, they put a behind the scenes picture and they let it shoot to everything else. I know Reddit, you're starting conversation. I know your Facebook group, because I'm a member of your group, you're putting original things. How is that broken down, kind of, and what platforms are you going across?
So the biggest one that we probably neglect is our regular Facebook page, because we post our stuff to there. And when I post on Instagram, I post original photos to Instagram. I let them a lot of times go to our Facebook page. So I'm definitely on Instagram. On Reddit, we're just usually more we post our episodes. If we get in an article or a news source, we post things like that on there. Hysteria Nation, which is our Facebook group, is definitely the one that we do the most original content. That's, outside of just our episode and stuff. That's where if I'm finding articles and things, I'm posting it there more than anywhere else, because that's where we have, a lot of participation. So I would say Instagram and our Facebook group get the most original content. And we try to post photos on Instagram that we don't always share on our Facebook page, and definitely not on our discussion group, just so that they have a reason to want to go there.
What about Twitter? Do you use that at all?
We are on Twitter, and I'm very active as far as retweeting and commenting and stuff like that. We have a few thousand followers. I don't get a ton of traction on there, and I talk to a lot of other shows, and that's their go-to. Maybe it's my age. I don't know.
I think it's the easiest one to just pop stuff on.
Yeah, I do. I pop stuff on there, and I try to do it, a couple times a day, or to be active, stuff on like that. But we don't get the interaction that we get on Facebook, that a lot of people say they love, and they get tons of interaction on there. It's escaped us, at least so far. But yes, I am on there, and we do use it.
Do you do any video elements to what you do?
So we used to, and we posted to YouTube quite a bit. Just, we would always,
or just your show.
Well, so we did both. Just the show. Every week on the show, we would convert it into just a video. Then we did, unboxing videos and behind the scene tours and things like that. And we got decent numbers, but also got a lot of trolls. We got a lot of just people that have nothing, to do with the show. We're talking. And now, since we went on to the new network that we've joined, we had to take down our whole channel, everything that we had on there that wasn't just original behind the scenes. And we took everything down at this moment.
All right, good. Back to the questions. Mm-hmm. What is the secret of your podcast success?
Oh man, deal with the devil. No,
you went to the crossroads.
Yeah, right. I would say probably one of the best things is John and I have known each other for 30 plus years. We've been friends for a long time, and we're doing something that we both like. We're not. We always like to say that we're skeptically optimistic about the things we talk about, but we also love what we're talking about. We have a lot of fun with it, and so because we've known each other for 30 plus years, we've got a pretty good back and forth, and I think that comes out in the show, because we've been friends for so long, and be able to rely on one another and know where the other is going, especially in a show that's mostly improvised. We have an outline we know we're going to talk about, but we make sure that we know the topic, and we just see kind of where it leads us. That's a huge key to us. And a lot of people always say, or one of the things I like hearing from people when they tell us is like, oh, you guys really know each other, and you're very comfortable talking to one another. And I think that comes through and helps quite a bit. But that's not something that's easily, not everyone's going to know their host for that long. And that's not something that has to take that long. We're just lucky in that aspect. Yeah,
that does come through in your show for sure. What about, this is another off question. Mm-hmm. We've only got two after this, but what about things like show notes? How much attention do you pay to that? Do you transcribe?
So we started transcribing. A while ago, we were with Buzzsprout, which is a different host than we're with Megaphone now. Originally, we were with Buzzsprout, and then we were with Libsyn, and Buzzsprout started offering transcription. And we did transcribe some. I didn't go through all of it to rewrite it. Unfortunately, you do with electronic transcription. You need to really watch it. Our show notes, we try to make our show notes have very active SEO elements while still being entertaining. So John actually writes our show notes every week, and it hits on the big key points in our show. And I really enjoy what he writes for our show notes, because it's got a comedy element too. It's not just it doesn't say this week on Hysteria 51. You know what I mean? And they're different every week. And I think that's important. SEO is so important, being able to be found, and we, just putting those keywords, those buzzwords, and working out your keywords when you do it is important. That a lot of people don't even do show notes. And that I hate to say blows my mind, but it blows my mind, because you're missing out. Every time someone's searching, that's another form for them to be able to search and find out what you're talking about, and I don't mean padding the title, for iTunes. I mean, the show notes are fantastic tool that can be used. Transcription, like I said, is great. It costs a lot of money if you're not doing it yourself. I don't have the time or the ability to transcribe. If that's something that you have, more power to you. And I think that it is an even better thing. And like I said, we were with Buzzsprout, and they were offering it. They're actually offering it for free for a while, and then they turned it to charging, and we were like, no, I'm out. So if you can do it, or if you can swing that, I think that's great. And I think a show different than ours is maybe a teaching show, or something that's teaching you something, an entrepreneurial or thing like that. I think show notes are a lot more important than what we would have use for them.
Excellent. All right. These are the questions that are going to be off of the main show, but going to our Patreon only. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, what's the next big thing in podcasting?
I think that the big thing that's coming outside of just what's in our control is better tech. From better apps, better UI, and recommendations for more advanced metrics, more advertising opportunities. It's time for the industry to grow up, and it is slowly, but I think that's the next big thing. As far as I don't know exactly what that looks like, but better metrics so we can break down shows. I wish that all hosting companies use the same what is it called? Metrics or whatever, not metrics, but they use the same form. So a download with this host counts as a download with that host, the same compliance, and they don't, but hopefully that we can get that in the future. Apps, there's no great, every app that's out there has a fault. iTunes is really falling behind, and we're having issues with iHeartRadio not always updating. Google, their new app, has been not updating us, things like that, and the search function in a lot of them is very much lacking. So I think, man, if someone could come out with a fantastic app, I think it could really help out. And the other thing is just finding advertising that doesn't require the show to have 50,000 downloads a month, 100,000 downloads a month, that they can work in that. If that means, more shows, if you want that. Not every show wants advertising, but if you want that ability outside of advertised cast or something like that, I think that's something that's going to come in the future and help out some shows be able to do it, their shows longer, as far as, not getting burnt out because the money dries up, in your hobby pocket, stuff like that.
Yeah, excellent. Last question.
Yeah.
How do you monetize Hysteria 51?
So we're not the norm. We're part of the How Stuff Works, and so as a function, they handle How Stuff Works is Stuff Media. It's owned by iHeartRadio, and so as a function, they handle advertising and monetization of our show. Besides that, outside of just them finding us advertising, there's merchandise sales. We have stuff on TeePublic. We have a Patreon page, which helps out tremendously, and we always put out at least one, and a lot of times 2 new episodes a week on there. We call them Up All Nights. I don't know if you remember the USA Up All Night.
Oh, of course.
Up All Night, yeah. So we do those, and that's just like after we turn off the regular show, we keep talking and stuff like that. We have a blast with that. John and I have started doing speaking engagements at some different places, and I've been lucky enough to get some paid ones with that. And we just had our first live show, and we're booking several more. So, and I know with How Stuff Works, it's going to allow us to make booking and stuff like that a lot easier. So if you can take your show into a live and you're not, that's scary for a lot of people, you know what I mean? But if you can do stuff like that, a lot of people come and see you. And if you're not in a network, if you're not at a point where you are have a backer, you know, there is stuff like I mentioned, advertise cast, reaching out to people and saying, hey, let's do advertising. You know what we did? We contacted people I knew that owned businesses when we were first starting out and said, I want to do ads for you for free. And if I can get you some business, maybe you can start paying us. And that's how we started out. And it worked great, you know, for us in the beginning. And maybe that's not great, but for everyone, but it worked for us, you know?
Yeah. Excellent answer, Brent. Do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, you know, this is my been a dream come true podcasting. It's something that I, you know, when I was not long ago, when I was in college, it didn't even exist, you know, and never thought my life would go down this road, and now I couldn't be happier. So I'm just happy that you know, people are taking it serious now. Like we said, it's started to be in cars, and people are really looking at it as, you know, a new type of art form and something that is going to stick around. So I'm living the dream right now, so to speak.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Brent.
You are welcome.
It, and I will share the paper with you when it is complete.
Excellent. Yes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. I'm going to hit stop on the recording.
I will too.